Welcome to another edition of Reflections, where I am your co-host, Shirley Hood. We are very excited. Why? Because we have two great people who are here on this segment of Reflections that we're going to sit down and talk to about serving our community. It's very exciting to, do this special episode because it's something that we all as viewers need not only to see, but to view and to know what is going on in our community and how you can be a great help to this great organization that we're going to introduce. But before we do that, we just want to say to our viewers, thank you for watching Reflections. Reflections have been on for the last 2 years, and our senior Pastor Jones, thank you for tuning in and being a part of Reflections. But at this present time, I'm going to be hosting the show, but in the following month, you will be seeing Pastor Marianne Jones, where she's going to be hosting these shows in the near future. But since I am here doing this show on today, I have, again, I have two great people, amen, that is here with us. And they're going to talk about the organizations that they are a part of and that they've been doing. And I'm so glad to introduce and be a part of this organization called the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association, which stands for RBNA. We are a community-based organization that helps the lives of people in the East Providence area. And our endeavor is to get the word out and spread that we are here for them. Whatever they're in need of, we are here for them to make the neighborhood safe. So I'm going to introduce to you the president of RBNA, Julie Silva. Julie Silva, thank you for being a part of Reflections.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you so much for having me again.
We're so happy to have you on this segment of Reflections. And I know that we're going to want to be talking about the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association and what the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association does for the community of East Providence. Please elaborate and tell us what the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association does.
Well, the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association, which we affectionately refer to as the RBNA, we do a lot of community endeavors. We have a lot of community projects, and our basic goal is to improve the community, and we are looking to make a difference one street at a time. Uh-huh. One of the, this month, these 4 months, what we're doing is a food drive. And what we're also gearing up for is our toy drive. So I'm here looking forward to being able to discuss that with you and let you know exactly what we're doing in the community and how throughout the month of November and December we'll be collecting toys.
Well, I was also looking at the flyer where you was talking about the spirit of giving. You're going to be honoring the late Joseph Silva. Joseph Silva was a part of RBNA. He was a big supporter, sponsor. He knew a lot of people. He gave his time. He gave his effort. Please tell us, who was Joseph Silva to you?
Joseph Silva is my dad. And he was a board member for the RBNA, and he was involved in a lot of community organizations. He really had a passion, especially when it had to do with children. He wanted to make a difference. And the toy drive, actually, that we at the RBNA will be sponsoring is one that it was his baby. He started it. It was over 20 years ago that he started this toy drive. And he did it in conjunction with the Knights of Columbus. He was a member of the Knights of Columbus for over 40 years, member of the East Providence Knights of Columbus Council. And his brother Knights helped support him, basically gave him the support and the place to continue his dream of raising toys for a worthy organization. The worthy organization that he chose for his toy drive was Children's Friend. And we're going to continue this in his memory. We have the toy drive that myself, my mother, and close family members are continuing. And we've had organizations like the RBNA who have jumped up and said, yep, we want to support you. A lot of local East Providence and East Providence businesses, and also other community businesses throughout Rhode Island are stepping up and saying, we know what Joe was about, and we want to continue his legacy.
Yes.
Want to continue his legacy through Children's Friends and be able to get more toys, help and affect more children in our area. So this year is very special to us. It's so special because not only are we doing the annual Joe Silva Memorial Toy Drive and the Memorial Christmas Toy Drive dinner, the dinner that we'll be holding on December 14th in East Providence at the East Providence Knights of Columbus. It'll be at 3200 Pawtucket Avenue. We will be starting that at 6:30 in the evening, and we have tickets available for anyone that's interested. They can either email js7950@aol.com, or they can also email jas111677@aol.com. Different ways to get in touch with us and to find out how they can donate toys or get tickets for the event. But we're doing ours, but it's really special because Children's Friends, they recognized how passionate my father was for his toy drive, and he sat on their holiday toy drive board. I believe it was for community members of the community that they had sit in with them and help come up with different ways of doing their drives.
Well, it was really awesome last year. We had the privilege to, my sister and I went to the toy drive dinner, and Children's Friends were there, and we saw the spirit of Christmas at that dinner. The one thing I can remember the most about Joseph Silver is that he had a passion of giving back to the community and for the children. And I remember looking at the tree and seeing all those gifts underneath that tree, and it was just so overwhelming. The experience was, there's no words to describe how that feeling was, and how people from all over came, not only to be a part of this dinner, but to be a part of what he believed in. He believed in this toy drive. He believed in it, and he got a lot of supporters for this toy drive. And we were so glad to be a part of it. Trinity Tabernacle Church, if you don't know, is a big advocate for our BNA and also for the toy drive that is going to be kicking off. And, we're so delighted that we're a part of this fine organization. I know some time ago when we first started out, we was looking into working with a community organization. Yeah. And, it's just amazing how it all played out and how we all met at the East Providence City Hall, and I came on board afterwards. But we was very excited, anticipated of working with our BNA and the goal and the mission, we would like to say, that it stood behind. And so this toy drive was just amazing because we were so glad to be a part of the toy drive. What was the thing that Joseph Silva loved the most about doing this toy drive?
He loved making Christmas special for children. He loved the fact that no child was going to go. His goal was no child should go without something for Christmas. Yeah. That was very big to him. That was very important. He took that very personally. He was someone that if you asked him and he couldn't do it, he'd try to find throughout his connection somebody that could do it. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't just a member that volunteered just at Christmas. He took a liking to this organization. He found the people that are involved in it were special because he believed that they were there for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. And he would be one that would pop up. If you ask anyone in the organization, he popped up all times throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And he was one that if he heard there was a need for, school supplies, he'd run a drive to get school supplies. If he heard that they needed mittens and hats, get some contact to make sure that they could get mittens and hats. So he was very compassionate and very dedicated to this organization, but But his true passion was his toy drive. Mm-hmm. He reached out to everybody. He reached out to the State Knights of Columbus, the local Brother Knights. He reached out to businesses, state officials. He didn't care. If you were there near him, you heard about his toy drive. Mm-hmm. If you didn't hear about his toy drive, you really didn't talk to him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because throughout the year he started, and even this year, my father passed February 25th of this year. He already started working on the toy drive. My mother and I, we had no choice but to continue this because he had the caterer booked. He had the DJ in line. He had the venue ready and basically said, haha, you're going to do this no matter what because I have it all arranged for you to walk into. Yeah. And we knew that this is part of his legacy and we need to continue it, and we want to continue it with children's friends. It's very important to us to do what my father intended. With that being said, Children's Friends honored my father and honored, in turn honored me and my mother by dedicating this year's The Spirit of Giving 2013 Holiday Toy Drive is in memory of Joseph Silva. Yes. And that is amazing. And one of the things that I said to David, the CEO, he's with us, we're going to talk to him. I said to him, you know what? You named this toy drive after a big guy. If anybody knew my father, he was a big guy. Yes. He was a big teddy bear. I said, you named him after a big guy, so you know we're going to have to go big this year. Yeah. And he's like, okay, bring it on. And we do. We have to go big this year because he would have expected nothing less from us.
Absolutely.
So it's extremely important.
Halloween, we had the party at the church.
The Halloween party.
He was so involved with the children, and he took a quite liking to it. He even volunteered his services. We didn't even ask.
Oh, yeah.
But because I seen how he drew his attention to the children, we saw that not only he gave so much, towards the party, but he gave his time. Yeah, he did. And that meant a lot to us, and I'm sure it meant so much to you, and we were just so glad that we had a chance to know him and see what he does for the community. Mm-hmm. But we want to talk about also what is it that what you are in need of as far as toys. Right. Tell us what that you need in order to make this Christmas special for each child.
We need unwrapped new toys or items, gift cards for children. I always say, because my dad said, ages 0 to 16 years old. He wanted it for the babies as much as he wants it for the older kids. Mm-hmm. We don't want any older children to be forgotten in this. And basically, it's no donation is too small, and there's no such thing as I can't help because I'm not a business. That doesn't matter. We appreciate our businesses just as much as we appreciate our individual donors. A small item is just as amazing as a large item. So, we're looking for everything. We're looking for books. We're looking for toys, games, gift cards. We're looking for any type of items, business services that, you think that the kids might be excited about. We are pretty much open to anything that's appropriate for children, age appropriate, and we make it happen. Children's Friends does an amazing job trying to match the gifts that we bring in to the children that want them and what they need. Mm-hmm. My father, I think his drive was always one that when he brought in toys, they were like the extras that they needed. The donors that fell through, or they just didn't get enough donors to fill things, and he brought things in. And in between, he'd make comments, say, what do you need? Because if someone asks me, I want to know. If we get money, I want to be able to go and buy specifically what you need. Is there a child wishing for something specific? And he tried to work like that. It didn't always work, but he really did try. Mm-hmm. He raised, over the years, probably thousands of items. Mm-hmm. But this last year, he raised 163 items. Wow. 563 items. Wow. 563 items. Wow. And so I said, okay, my goal is going to be 600. And then the businesses said, no, Julie, you got to go bigger than that. Wow. So our goal is going to, we're going to just throw it out there and say, we have 1,000. We want to hit 1,000 this year. Right. Okay. We got to make it big. Yes. And East Providence is going to help us, and the local Rhode Island is going to help us, and we're going to make it big because
there you go.
It's important.
We're going to say, let's reach 1,000 If those are going to be watching, let's reach 1,000. Let's give 1,000 toys away to each and every child that deserves a Christmas. Every child deserves a Christmas. Every child deserves a gift. They deserve this chance to know that there is an organization, or many organizations are there to help them to see what Christmas can be all about. So let's make this a 1,000 mark. Can we do that? I hope that we can. I totally agree. I actually believe that we're gonna make this 1,000 mark. And if we can do good this year, we can do better next year.
We have some great organizations that jumped up this year. My father was a big surprise to anyone that knew him. He was a volunteer for the AYSO, the American Youth in Soccer Organization. It's an organization in East Providence. And he was one of their fill-ins for their concession. So if they needed somebody for their concession stand and one of their guys or women needed a break, he'd come in and he'd fill in for them. Because he didn't, he never knew how to say no. He wasn't one to say the word no. And we were glad because we met some amazing people. Well, to honor him as their volunteer, their Elks Shootout already started collecting toys so we got, we're on our way there. I mean, already in our back room in our house, we have 111 items.
Wow.
So, and this is, early in the season, and every day we're looking for more, and we're getting calls that we're going to get more. So we haven't hit 1,000 yet, so we still need the word to get out there, and we need the toys to keep on coming in, but we're going to do it.
All right. Well, thank you, Julie, for elaborating on the spirit of giving.
Thank you.
We have also the President and Chief Executive Officer of Children's Friends and Family here by the name of David Caprio. David, thank you so much for allowing us to come and being a part of this segment of Reflections. Please tell us, what do Children's Friends and Family do for this community?
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me, first of all, and let me participate. And to be here with you and Julie is just exciting, and I'm extremely honored to be here. So a little bit about, I'll give you a quick overview of what Children's Friend and Service does. And we're actually an agency that's almost 180 years old, so we have a great history here in Rhode Island. And our mission is to serve Rhode Island's most vulnerable young children. So we promote the well-being and healthy development of Rhode Island's most vulnerable young children. So the majority of children and families we work with have children ages 8 and under, or as Joe would say, from 0 to 8. But that said, when we work with a child, we work with their entire family. So, many of our children have older siblings and mom and dad. So we work with everybody in the family to really try to support our families. You could really break down our families into 3 different buckets that fit the most vulnerable kids. And those are children who have been victims of abuse or neglect, so maybe in the child welfare system. Also children who lack permanency in their life, so they may be foster children or awaiting adoption, would also fall into that category. But by far, the majority of the children and families we work with are families that are living in poverty. Children who are living in families in poverty. Over 98% of the children that we serve in our program are living under the federal poverty level, which is about $21,000 of income for a family of 3. So those are the kids and families. These are kids and families right here in our community in Rhode Island. We don't serve out of state. We're not an international adoption agency or anything like that. We're focused right here on our community in Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, East Providence, really all across the state. And our agency started in the India Point section of Providence 180 years ago. So those are the families and the kids that we're serving, and those are the families and kids that are helped by things like the Holiday Drive, the Spirit of Giving Holiday Drive, and are the benefactors of generous people like Joe Silver and his family and all of his friends and community that come together to support our kids and our families.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at your mission statement, and a part of it where you said, we would like to accomplish this providing flexible and effective culturally relevant services and advocating programs and policies that support and strengthen these children and their families. What is more that we need to do? What is more that we should be doing for these families and these children? What more should we be doing?
So for the kids themselves, what they need stable, families safe environments. They need access to education and health care. These are our most vulnerable kids. I mean, think of a 3-year-old and how vulnerable they are, even a newborn, and all their needs. And so we have to address all those issues. We have to address, communities. Do we have, like the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association, you're building community there. We don't have that everywhere in Rhode Island. We don't have that everywhere even in East Providence. Yeah. So we need that sense of community, because a neighbor helping neighbor is so important. We need strong families. Yeah. Not all of us come from strong families, where we have, adults in our lives who are positive influences and stable influences on our life. So we need to help build families, and all of that will help build kids. And the kids are our next generation. They are our future, and we're building our future when we do those basics. So it's about certainly taking care of kids, like in a Head Start classroom. So we have about 1,000 kids every day who go into Head Start classrooms here at Children's Friend, and we're taking care of education and getting them ready to go into kindergarten. So even though they come from a low-income environment, they're going to be ready to start school just like their upper-income students are. But at the same time, we're also working with the family, because we know that you can't serve a child in isolation. So whatever we do in a Head Start classroom or even in a school, if a child isn't in a safe, stable home, a lot of that's going to get lost. Right. When they go home, they don't have access to food or health care. Yeah. What they learned in school is going to be lost. Yeah. So we work to work with the family to say, hey, what are your challenges? What are your strengths? And how can we, make your life better? What steps are you looking to take that we can assist you on? And then therefore we're giving kids education in school, and we're giving family stability, and that's just an incredible mix. So things like the holiday drive. So you say, all right, so you're talking about school, you're talking about maybe housing or, more stable family life.
Yes.
So the holiday drive is so important.
Yes.
So last year, overall for this agency, we served over 1,100 families.
Wow.
In the holiday drive. And these are all, and I want to emphasize this, these are all families that we know. So we're working with around 2,000 families every single day at Children's Friend.
Wow.
Our workers are in their homes. We know mom and dad. We know the children. So these aren't families who just come in and sign up to get a free toy or get a free gift. These are families that we know they're in need, and we also know they're probably not being helped by anybody else.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we can help them at this time of year. But the holiday drive is an incredible thing, obviously for the kids, because they're going to wake up on Christmas morning, on whatever winter holiday they may celebrate, and they're going to have a new toy, a new gift, and obviously for a child that makes you feel so wonderful. But for families, especially families that are low income and struggling, they want to do what's best for their kids, but they may not have the resources to give them something. And this takes an additional stress off that family, because they know while they're dealing with whatever issue they may have to deal with, that their kids are going to be taken care of at this time of the year. And they're not going to be the only kid on the street who doesn't have a new gift or a new toy or a new piece of clothing. One of the most amazing things I've seen in the holiday drive when we've delivered our gifts to our families, because we deliver all the gifts to the families, is, and this was a specific example, but it's replicated all the time, is a little girl who got a brand new sweater and it had a tag on it. And she was so excited because she had a tag, a piece of clothing with a tag on it. And that meant it was new and it was for her and it was special. Because so often, which is absolutely okay, because we run clothing closets here, people donate used clothing or even slightly used toys, and that's wonderful to do, and we do that, and it helps our kids. But at this time of year, we're able to give them something new, and that's why we ask that the toys or the gifts be new. Even a new pair of gloves, a new pair of mittens, a new jacket for our kids. It is so special, and it's so meaningful, and again, for both the kids and for their parents and for the families.
In other words, if myself or anybody else of that nature, if they wanted to come here and they wanted to drop off a coat or a pair of shoes, or we can do that, because we need people to know how important this is.
Absolutely.
Is that possible for them to do?
That is absolutely. All year long, we take donations of gently used clothing, kids and adults, because while we serve mainly kids, obviously parents take care of the kids first, and so many times our parents don't have winter clothing or things like that themselves. So we also take donations of adult clothing as well as child's clothing, and we do that all year long. On the holiday drive, we ask for new things for our families, but we have drop-in centers all over the place that people can drop off clothing.
I see some of the services that Children's Friends does. You mentioned about the Head Start.
Yes.
Elaborate also on the foster care.
Absolutely.
I've seen that as well.
So foster care, in our foster care program, works with children age 5 and under. And that's a large percentage of the kids in foster care in our state. And we have such a need for foster care in our state. We have many children who, for whatever reason, are at least temporarily unable to stay in their own homes and need a safe family environment to stay in. And that's where foster families step in. And, these are people that we work with, we support, we train them, we license them, but these are just individuals out in the community who are willing to open up their home and their hearts to take care of a kid in need on a temporary basis while their biological parents work to get any issues they need addressed, or a child is able to find permanency. But these are foster parents who 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are working to support these kids. And I say I work our mission. Our foster parents live our mission every single day. Yes. And they just unconditional love to take in a child, care for them, and like I said, we do support them and we train them and we're available to them 24/7. Yes. But foster parents are such an important role that they play in our society and in our work here, and there's such a huge unmet need in Rhode Island for foster parents. So we also are always recruiting for foster parents.
Yes, I can recall that so well. My mom was a foster parent, and she loved taking care of children. So I stand behind that fully. Please volunteer your time in your service for Children's Funds. They're just doing so much. I'm just like overwhelmed right now to be sitting here talking to the president of children and family. I just to hear that not only that they are doing this great community thing, but they're also talking about how you can be so involved. I was looking at the Champion for Children. I know that has passed, the luncheon has passed. Tell us, what was that like?
That was a fundraiser for us, and that was about really raising money for our work, because we also need cash and things like that to keep going as a organization. And so that was bringing the corporate community, trying to bring businesses and government officials into our work, and understanding the needs of our family and the needs of the agency as we grow and try to work and support families. So that was a great event to have. And we also talked about things like foster care and our Dads Making a Difference program and things like that at the luncheon, just to help the corporate community while they're supporting us, but also to understand what our work is and what our family's about. We have people like, and that the reason that there were many reasons, obviously, why we named the holiday drive this year after Joe Silver and in memory of Joe. Like Julie said, Joe was here almost every day for our holiday drive for so many years. He was out there raising donations and getting toys and did his great toy drive dinner. But he was also in here volunteering, moving things around, packing buses, packing trucks so that toys could get out to kids. Even last December when he wasn't feeling that great, he was here an awful lot helping out. And he did it, as Julie said, because to him, Christmas was a very important holiday, and it was very important for him that a child did not wake up on Christmas without a toy.
Yes. Please, don't hesitate. Give Children's Friends a call. Give them a call. See what you can offer, even if it's your time, even if it's a gift. Make a difference in a child's life. Make a difference in the community. And if they are here, they will give you all the information that you need to know. Also, call Julie Silver from the Red Bridge Neighborhood Association, and she will direct you on how you can be a great support for this holiday season. We thank you so much for tuning in and watching Reflections, and I will see you probably in the following year, but